Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers and potential new Dragon Ballers? Welcome to the channel. My name is Joey. Here on Crossworld TCG, we cover Dragon Ball Super card game content. And I want to give this little explanation of what the game is because you might have seen the title, NFL football player hosts huge Dragon Ball Super tournament. And you might be thinking, well, what does an NFL player have to do with Dragon Ball Super? We're going to get to that. And I'm actually going to interview that player in this video. But I want to give this brief little intro first. So the Dragon Ball Super card game is a competitive card game where you take your favorite Dragon Ball Super characters, Goku, Piccolo, Gohan, Janemba, Hirudegarn, all just to name a few of them. You take them up, you battle them against your friends. It's a very fun game to play at your house, at a local game store, but it's also a very competitive game with a serious, hardcore competitive circuit, and you can actually win some pretty decent money playing this game. So whether you want to just pick up a game based around your favorite IP of Dragon Ball, or you want to take something really competitive and really serious, and you want to try and make some money off of it like some of us players do, there are options for you for this game. This game is so much fun, guys. I love what I do creating content for the game, and this interview and this video is just another way that I get to help the game out. So again, you saw that crazy title, NFL football player hosts huge Dragon Ball Super tournament. So I want to intro Dallin and my relationship with Dallin a little bit, just as kind of like a background. So Dallin and I are actually pretty similar in age. You know, he just went to graduate college and go on to play in the NFL and earn fame and fortune, and I'm just here making YouTube videos and taking an extra year in college. But anyways, I got to meet him before he actually went to the NFL. Currently he plays for the Baltimore Ravens, but I got to meet him while he was still at Texas A&M. I actually interviewed him on my channel with a deck profile because he made a top cut appearance with Skilla. It's one of my favorite decks of all time. So I got wind of it. I got wind that he was a D1 football player. Had to have him on the channel because I played football in high school and he was kind of just like living out my dreams, right? So I had him on the channel. We really kicked it off. We stayed in touch. We became pretty tight. And now, fast forward several months, he's in the NFL. He's looking to give back to this game in a huge way. We had a lot of things in common. The shared love for football, shared love for the Dragon Ball Super card game. So now I'm here to help promote his tournament, the Dallin Mack Tournament of Power. I'm not getting paid to promote this. I am in no way like benefiting in promoting this. All it does is help the game in a huge way, and the interview with Dallin is going to help prove that to you guys. And I know I should have put this out a little bit earlier. Unfortunately, I can only make a video when I think about making the video and the content. Unfortunately, I didn't think about it till now, but there's still about 3 weeks till the Dallin Mack Tournament of Power. Still a pretty good amount of time to book your flights, book your travel, book your hotels. There are going to be links in the description, so make sure you check those out for the event registration and the hotel link registration, where you actually get a discount code if you're going to the Tournament of Power. So make sure you check those out all out down in the description below. And from there, guys, I am going to bring it to the interview. All right, Dragon Ballers. So I am here with the man himself, Dallin Mack. Dallin, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit, like a little bit about your personal self, and then tell us a bit about your card gaming history.
All right, well, my name is Dallin Mack. I'm a NFL football player for the Baltimore Ravens, and I'm addicted to card games. I played Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Argent Soccer for a little bit, but right now I'm currently really big into the Dragon Ball Super card game.
Awesome. And is that just like from a love of Dragon Ball as an IP, or the card game itself, or a combination of both? What is it?
Yeah, it's for the IP. You know, I really like Yu-Gi-Oh, but I really didn't like the ban list too much. In Pokemon, there's no interaction. So I feel like Dragon Ball is like a great mix of those things. You know, you got the interaction, the IP is strong, mechanics are smooth, and it's just interesting. The combo stuff is a very unique concept in the game, and so it just really, I really like it a lot.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that. I think the way the designers are designing the game as of late is absolutely incredible. Like everything in set 9, nothing seems like too crazy, but we'll talk more about set 9 and that later. So I wanted to ask, so we're talking about Tournament of Power, obviously. So I want you to explain to everyone out there, because I say it all the time and I truly believe it, but I want you to explain to everyone out there, why is the Tournament of Power and other things like that such a big move for Dragon Ball Super?
Well, I think it's a big deal because I don't think anyone. First of all, the prizing. This is like going to be the biggest guaranteed cash prizing event. I think I want to say in any card game, like out of Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Probably not Magic, but yeah, just about definitely Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, and I know for Dragon Ball it's going to be insane. It's guaranteed prizing, so you don't have to worry about the prizing changing at the last minute.
That's an awesome thing not to have to worry about. Thank you very much.
But I think this is a big deal because I mean, Dragon Ball is a growing game. The attendance for the last two Dragon Balls events have been well over 200, over 215. So that's really big. I can't remember the last time we had two events back to back with over 200 players. Um, it's just an exciting time, you know. I think I did a really good job at the date of the venue because we want Dragon Ball to become one of the big three, and hosting it at the same time as a Yu-Gi-Oh! YCS. And there's just so much stuff going on in Vegas that weekend. You know, I think it's really good to show that hey, Dragon Ball is one of the big games as well. You know, we're gonna be there and we're gonna have a lot of people playing the game. So just wanted to just have more spotlight on the game and just continue to help it grow.
For sure, man. Yeah, Dragon Ball is going to be hanging with the big dogs that weekend. And I'm super excited, man. And first of all, I got to thank you guys, you and Shenron's Lair, which we'll talk about in a second, for being able to work with Bandai, being able to work with the TOs of the regional, because we were able to move the regional to Friday. So there is some workaround. Actually, guys, if you are not yet going to the Daily Mack Tournament Power, I mean, obviously at this point, we want you to go there, but it's going to be a weekend full of Dragon Ball Super card game because the regional got moved to Friday, so you can play in the Swiss rounds on Friday. Then you can play in the Dallin Mack Tournament of Power on Saturday. And then if you top either of those events, the top cuts are on Sunday. There is a little bit of wiggle room in between those top cuts, so that if you do top both events, you can play in both events potentially. But I mean, that's pretty unlikely. But it's
Yeah.
still a possibility. And just the fact that you guys were able to work that out, I got to give you guys major props. Anything you want to mention about that?
Yeah, major shout out to Bandai. I mean, they've always shown great feedback. You know, when the players say, "Hey, we got a problem with this," they still haven't banned Gogeta 7, but you
That's
know,
the one problem.
that's probably the only thing you can complain about with them. They've done such a great job. The design team has just been incredible. You know, set 8 was awesome. Set 9 looks even crazier, and set 10, the little news we have about set 10 looks like it's going to even be better than set 8 and set 9. So they're doing great. I mean, I don't think any other card game has a billion-dollar industry like Bandai, who is not only did they change the regional day, but they threw another regional just so you know everyone can just have an awesome Dragon Ball Super weekend. So major thanks to them and Carter Magica for just even like working with us on it. So very thankful and grateful.
110%, man. Like, it's I love their team too. Like the Bandai team, it's a pretty small team for those of you guys that don't know or aren't aware. Like Yoshido and those guys, they're a young group of people who are willing to make things work. They're willing to change. They're willing to take criticism, and for those reasons, like they're amazing. But let's move on with the next question. I want to ask you. So I am on Shenron's Lair, obviously, but I don't have much to do with like the behind the scenes tournament of power stuff. So walk us through a little bit, like how you decided to work with Shenron's Lair, why Shenron's Lair, and what you guys are working on for the TOP. Anything you're able to spoil with us?
So after the I got my first top in Dallas this past year. And after the event, you know, I was able to meet a lot of guys. Marcus, I was able to meet Tony G. You know, just a lot of guys. I met Machado for the first time, Butters, Dehan, all those guys. So it was kind of cool. And I think my friend Claudio was telling him, "Hey, yeah, he plays in the NFL. He's getting drafted next week." So obviously the attention was there. It was like, "Hey, this NFL football player, you know, is playing the Dragon Ball Super card game, and he topped an event." So probably the best time to top, honestly,
Yeah, the
right
hype
before
was
the
real.
draft. So I think after that, you know, I kind of did a couple videos, and then I met you. I did my first ever YouTube deck profile with you, and I think word just kind of got out around there. And once I got to Atlantic City, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna throw host an event. You know, I'm gonna throw a tournament, and so it kind of went on. And when we got to Nats, Marcus and them, I didn't know who I was still trying to put together stuff of how I was gonna throw the event. And then that's when Marcus came up to me, him and Jose and Amir, and we had met a couple times already. And they told me that said, "Hey, you know, we have plans to become a future TO and stuff like that, and we'd like to throw the tournament with you." And I thought it was a really good idea because no one's ever said anything bad about Shenron's Lair, especially Marcus. I mean, he's the nicest guy I've ever met.
Seriously.
So I felt like it was a good opportunity for us to combine forces. Um, we're both very respected people in the community. You know, everyone likes us. No one has anything bad to say about us. And I feel like the community would like, you know, the first players in the game to, you know, throw a community event like this. And I felt it would be a good mix of people. And it has been so far. And Marcus has done a great, like him and Amir, they've done a great job. It's been insane, honestly. I honestly couldn't have imagined it going this well. The venues, Marcus reaching out with Bandai. No one knows how hard he had to work to, the amount of time he had to talk to them to get them to change their event. Even though when I feel like it was okay, we have no chance of getting them to budge. He kept working on it, and he eventually got them to change the event. So very grateful for him and Amir and Alec, as well as Chris Welch and the rest of the team. They just did a great job, and that's it. That's how we got into it, and we're gonna continue working. We got a little bit more stuff to iron out this week, and then we should be good to go.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine how much work it's taking you guys, to throw a tournament, especially as first time TOs. But I know from talking to you and from talking to Marcus that the vision for this tournament is absolutely huge. So I guess what I want to talk about next is a little bit of speculation for the tournament. So obviously it's going to be the first tournament with featuring set 9. So it's the week after set 9 releases. Now, I'm going to just mention just a few archetypes that I think are going to be very powerful, and then I want to hear your thoughts. So I
Okay.
think that Cooler is going to have a strong showing. I think that Red Blue with TN being
Yeah.
banned is going to be pretty powerful. I think that Green Yellow Cell, a lot of people like to hit on the Cell leader, but he's actually very strong. I think that him without Tau in the format is going to be crazy as well. And I think Blue
Yeah.
is going to have a pretty strong showing. So what do you think about the set 9 stuff for the Tournament of Power?
So I've been on Untapped a little bit. Um, I think Successor is a strong mechanic. At first glance, like you look at Successor and you're like, oh man, synchro summoning, because I'm coming from Yu-Gi-Oh. And the card that gets your attention is the topo, right? So you summon the topo, negate skills, and then it kills like anything.
Yep.
So that's obviously cool. And it's only 2 mana, so you can just like do it and go into another one. And so basically you can kill like 3 cards in like 1 turn. So that's really cool. The boost stuff seems really cool. I don't know how relevant it'll be with decks like Hatch running around, because you always gotta, just prepare for Hatch.
Right.
But that one seems pretty cool. The mechanic that I'm most interested to start working on with is Invoker, though. That because those extra cards are pretty powerful, and maybe if they become like 1 mana, 1 mana spells, like that's when it gets pretty crazy. But I think the best thing about it is like they're mostly activate mains, like they're not activate battles. So if they were just popping stuff like during your like when your opponent was swinging, I think it would be more broken. But the activate main, even for like 1 mana, is still like too good, even though it's activate main. So Successor, Invoker. I'm not too sure about the Cell leader. I think like it just doesn't draw enough. It doesn't draw enough cards. And as crazy as that sounds, like in the top 5 is cool, but like at the end of the day, like Dragon Ball is a hand advantage game, and if you don't have that many cards, like you're just not gonna be able to inflict damage on it. I think you just gotta like build it weird. And the problem I had when I was trying to build like a Successor Cell deck is like I wanted to put all the Successor cards in there, but I think you're gonna have to try to like pick a couple of them out, and you can't play them all. Like I was trying to play like 3 Topo and 3 Cell and just like keep going into each other, but you can't really do that. The another deck I think is gonna be really good is the Cooler deck. I know a lot of people are hype on all the mill stuff. I tried to build like a storm version of it, but like the 1-drop freeze and stuff like that, and going to each other, and then like bouncing back to my hand with the combo attack Cooler, and the Frieza unending assault onslaught. But it's just like I don't know. I think like I'm just waiting for someone to post a skeleton so I can kind of like analyze it.
Right.
Because right now like the builds are kind of just like they're kind of I mean they're good. Like I've won some games on Untap, but like it loses to more defined builds, right? Like, so I lost to an old Surge Coup list. So, I mean, I think I just need to like define it more. And who knows? Surge Coup probably still one of the best decks, honestly. Like, if I can't find anything, I wouldn't have a problem with just trying to play something like that again. So, just tweak it a little bit with some of the new cards. But the entire set looks good. I'm glad that it's Tournament of Power themed, and it's like right before the Tournament of Power. So I feel like
Yes.
that was pretty awesome that everything kind of fell into place there. But yeah, everything looks smooth. I'm just interested to see what people are gonna bust out. My best picks would be though probably Successor or Invoker, something like that.
Nice. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you too. Like how you said Surge Goku is still gonna be powerful, Hachiak's still gonna be powerful. Like that's what I love about the design philosophy in this game right now. Like set 9 does seem really strong, but it seems like it's gonna integrate into our current format very well. It's not gonna be like immediate power creep, which I like a lot. So the last question I want to talk about with you, Dallin, is the open banlist format. So I think it's super cool that you decided to host a open banlist teams tournament. So real quick, for those of you guys who don't know, anything that is on the ban list, anything that was errated for power level is back to its original power state. If things were errated for like text clarification, things like that, those are still going to be errated. And Amir actually created an entire document that you guys can find on the Facebook page, on the Dallin Mack Turn of Power Facebook page, that I'm going to link down below. There's a whole document that outlines what cards are legal and illegal, but basically it's a really cool thing. So we have full power Mecha Frieza, full power Super Shenron. It's gonna be really nuts. So I'll just give a quick outline of what I think. I think Mecha Frieza, some type of degenerate aggro deck, whether it's Storm, Veggies, that kind of thing, I think is gonna be very powerful. I think Super Shenron Height of Mastery, once again, is gonna be incredibly powerful. But I think like a deck like Hachiak actually kind of checks those decks in a way, like especially like Mecha Frieza, like Storm or Mecha Frieza Veggies. I think Hachiak. So I think it's gonna be, it's gonna be a crazy event, but I think there's gonna be a relative balance to like some of the power levels of things. What do you think about the open banlist format, Dallin?
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be crazy. It's definitely gonna be crazy. I know. So apparently, someone brought it to my attention that there's a turn 2 victory strike deck.
Oh, I
That
saw you make a post about that. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, whoever you are, reveal yourself, please, and show us the spice, so we can see, like what it is you're trying to do. I mean, if you can pull it off, I would love to have you on stream round one. Even like in probably all tournament, honestly. If you're turn 2 victory striking people, but the main reason is that I want to throw the open ban list format is because like Team Wars is cool, but you don't want to play like a deck that you can always play. Like, and a lot of times people end up playing in Team Wars with the worst version of their singles deck. And so I don't think that's really good for the format. I just feel like it's just like kind of a nuisance. It was cool back in the day where you could play like Shugesh Veggies. You can't really play that in singles because side decks are a thing. But like in Team Wars, it's kind of cool. You get to play Shugesh Veggies because you don't get to play it often. So I felt like that would be like really unique. I'm surprised more people haven't started doing it. Having an open ban list format, I feel like it gives value to the older cards. That way, like your cards will always have value.
Yep.
So that's really the main thing. I just wanted people to be like, okay, now your cards always have value. You get to play unique decks that you don't normally get to play. And so I mean, honestly think it's healthy for the game. I think it's healthy for a game.
Yeah, for sure. Like Magic always promotes alternate formats. I think
Yeah.
open banlist in Dragon Ball can be a little toxic sometimes, but I mean, if you run the tournament like every so often, like at the TOP, and then like maybe a few months later, and then a few months in between, I think open banlist can be really fun. Especially with the innovation like you're talking about, like some people figuring out turn 2 victory strike or turn 1 like height of mastery, like really stupid stuff like that. It's not gonna be super consistent, but it's gonna be pretty cool to see the creativity in certain deck builders. I think that's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, and if it ever got like out of hand for like future TOPs, we could be like, okay, well, every card is playable in this format, but here are the cards that are banned or limited or something like that. Something like unique. But I think for the most part, people just want to like. No one wants to play like Hatch in the. Well, I guess Hatch is a bad example because Hatch is actually tier 0 and like in like open ban. But like no one wants to play Surge Coup and like the singles event and then get to like play it in teams and got to take out your Senzu beans or something like that because one of your other teammates need to play. Like you should be able to just like flex as hard as you can. Someone can play this, someone can play that, someone can play this. So I think it's healthy. I think it's good for the game. I'm also working on it probably won't happen this TOP, but I'm working on coming up with a tag team format. Gotta find some like rules or whatever. I'm probably actually gonna do it like one person has a leader and the other person is the spirit or something like that. And so like this leader's always on its front and this leader's always on its back or whatever. There's no awakening mechanic, and like when your life runs down, you lose. So something like that. But yeah, I think it'll be pretty cool. I just haven't really put more details. And who knows, that what I just said could possibly just be broken and not work. But I'm working on having something. It probably won't be for this TLP. Might be able to test it out during side events, but not 100% sure.
Awesome. So, I mean, that's the type of forward thinking stuff, right, that we're trying to do here at the TOP with everything. And we're just trying to throw the community bigger and better tournaments. So, Dallin, any final parting words you want to get out there before we wrap it up?
Now just make sure y'all are getting registered. I know my room block code is still up and available, and I know there's a lot of stuff that's happening in Vegas that weekend, like the fight with Deontay Wilder and the Gypsy King. So, and then the Yu-Gi-Oh YCS and all that stuff. So just make sure y'all use the promo code. You can come and stay at the Flamingo. That's where the event's going to be held. So it'd be really cheap and convenient if you use the code.
Awesome. All right, Dallin, thank you so much for being on, and we will see you guys at Tournament of Power.
All right, thanks.